But how can we say that this guy isn't good enough to be the starter in Pittsburgh, but he's good enough to be the backup for Philadelphia when there's nothing special that he does? Especially when, and we're going to tie this all together in a moment, Justin Fields was available as a backup, apparently.
Yeah, well.
Justin Fields coming into Pittsburgh for peanuts. Why is it not that the Eagles, because doesn't that match the skill set?
It does.
Quarterback?
I think that matches. I think Justin Fields coming to town causes an issue. It's a little bit like, wait, hey, what, Jalen Hurts, what? I'm faster than you, Jalen Hurts. What do you mean? Hey, your arm? My arm's stronger than yours, Jalen Hurts. I think Justin Fields causes a problem, right? Justin Fields gets in the game, and the first time they run the read option behind that offensive line, all of a sudden he rips off 70 yards. All of a sudden the fan bases in the locker room's like, whoa, did you see Justin Fields? It's okay for Kenny Pickett because Kenny Pickett, to what you said, he's the perfect backup. That's what he is. He's a high-end backup that maybe can be a starter as we go, and maybe he can get better as a football player, right? But again, yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It's not about being a starter or anything, but it's about them still being good enough, and he can handle that, especially with that team and that support system, to where, yeah, they won't crash and burn if Jalen Hurts gets hurt.
That is a sad commentary if that's true. Think about that. We hear all the time that decisions are made in the best interest of the team, whatever in the hell that means. And there's a great study of that phrase in the 9th episode of The Dynasty on Apple TV+. Oops, sorry, Peacock. But in the 9th episode, when Malcolm Butler doesn't play in Super Bowl 52, Robert Kraft basically comes out and says it was something personal between Belichick and Malcolm Butler, and Belichick has always made decisions in the best interest of the team, and this is basically the first time he didn't because he allowed emotion to get in the way of football decisions. That's what Kraft says. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he says.
Right.
So best interest of the team, what are the best interests of the team? Is it in the best interest of the team to have the best possible backup quarterback? But if he might be too good, he might be better than the guy we have starting. Isn't that a good thing to acquire somebody who's better than the guy you have starting?
It is.
Isn't that sad to think? If that's true, if it's true, isn't it sad to think that a team would stick with someone lesser than someone else who was available for nothing?
It's
and
very common.
Better.
It's very
with the
common.
other quarterback. I know, but it's sad. It's sad to think it happened.
No,
if I'm a fan of the Eagles, I'm pissed off that they didn't bring in Justin Fields because they're afraid he might be better than Jalen Hurts.
Well, let's put it this way.
If that's true.
Well, let's
not
put it
saying
this
it's
way.
true.
Right. Let's put it this way, though. Right? I mean, we talk about all the time, the leader of your team's important, locker room's important, and they took a big blow in that department this year. All we've talked about Philadelphia since the Super Bowl ended was what the hell was going on in that locker room. What's going on there? So I'm sure they're very aware of that. It's a delicate situation, right? So, and again, I don't know that, but that would just be my thoughts. Justin Fields causes some problems there. Kenny Pickett is not a threat to Jalen Hurts at all in any way, right? Everyone, and again, too, and I know we're not getting into the Justin Fields conversation yet, and we will here in a little bit, but, not everybody views Justin Fields, as we know, as a, starting quarterback or a guy that they can trust in some passing situations and all that. The damn team he's coming from, gave us indicting comments on him about, we want somebody who runs a 2-minute offense. We want somebody that can play in the pocket better. I mean, they kind of semi-crapped all over him as he was still a part of their football team at the Combine. So, and I think there's a lot of teams in football, and you see with the trade market, that look at him, and I don't think he's trusted in those departments either. So, here they got a backup that, okay, he can, he's not going to be able to run and make some of the plays like Justin Fields, but he can run the offense, and they trust that, let alone I think they trust maybe the locker room dynamic maybe more.
Well, Chris, I'm confused then. Is Justin Fields a threat to Jalen Hurts, or is he not a threat to Jalen Hurts? Because in one breath, you sound like he is, and in another breath, you sound like he is.
No, I'm saying I could see that being the reason. I'm just throwing something out there to go, the rest of the league doesn't view him that way either, right? I wasn't trying to make a breaking news statement or anything like that. I'm just trying to give two sides of the story there.
Understand.
Because I don't know the inside info here. I don't. These are the kind of things, again, I usually find out after the fact, and I don't know what Philly's thought process is, but putting my, trying to put my best Eagles hat on there.
the dynamic that you referred to,
Yeah.
going back to Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I mean, in Seattle, it was competition everywhere, except at quarterback. When they had a chance to get he who shall not be named, lest all of the, folks out there get upset that I said his name again. But when he visited, that was the spin from Pete Carroll. We already have a starter. We don't need a guy who's good enough to be a starter. We have a starter. So that does happen. I agree with you. It's just weird to think
I know
that a team would shy away.
I hear you.
Because it's clear that Justin Fields is a better option.
Well,
at
he
number
fits
2
their
than Kenny
offense
Pickett,
and what
in
they
that
would
offense
do.
especially.
Exactly. Yes, I agreed with you.
Clearly the better option.
Agreed.
Clearly the better option. Now, from ESPN.com comes the report that the Bears had an additional offer with stronger draft capital from a team with an established starter, but chose to send Fields to Pittsburgh with the hopes of putting the 25-year-old in a position to continue his development, first as a backup to Wilson and eventually as a starter. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.